Hi guys, today I'm going to tell you how I manifested my dream life using human design. I'm Maria Guerrero and I'm your self-love manifestation human design coach and tarot reader. So, if this is the first video that you've seen of me, then welcome to my channel. And if you've seen more videos of me, then you know I'm all about manifesting my dream life and the next version and the next version and the next version. So I have been living my dream life since 2019. So, and I discovered human design in 2023, I think, or 2022, I think. Yeah. So, how did I live my dream life with human design if I was already living it before human design? So, living our dream life doesn't mean that it just happens once. Like, you can live your dream life today, and then tomorrow you can just, or the next month, you can just live a whole new level of living your dream life. Like, things that you never thought you could live and imagine, right? Because that's what energy is. That's what manifestation is. Like you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like your mind is so limited, right? But when you go and surrender and like just allow magic to enter your life, then guess what? You're living in a whole new level. Like your dream life from last year is like it's like old news, you know? It's like wow, like it's limited compared to how you're living now, right? So before human design, I was living my dream life. Like you don't really need any tools to live your dream life. You don't need a tarot, you don't need human design, you don't need crystals, you don't need anything. You don't even need to meditate, honestly. I live my, because I can say it with personal experience. I lived my dream life just by my mind, just by thinking about it, just by writing something very simple, like a one sentence. Like you don't need anything for human design, but it will be much easier, right? If you use help, right? You don't have to do it alone. Like there are tools that help you live your dream life even more like faster and more freely and less limited and more magical. Because sometimes we we don't dream so big, you know? So before human design, I was living a wild life. I left the corporate life in USA in 2000, beginning of 2019, and I just started living my dream life, which was being a digital nomad. So I started traveling around the USA for a few months, and then in the summer of 2019, the universe just sent me to the most wild adventure. And I went to Norway and I started hitchhiking. So I started to like asking for rides and I just lived off $1,000 and just my imagination. And I knew how to manifest because in 2018, I was already like practicing like law of attraction consciously. So after 1 year of practicing, in my safety zone at home, at my corporate job, and just seeing how everything was changing. Obviously, when I went off to Europe with only $1,000, like I knew that I could manifest things without money. And I did. Like I manifested travels, I manifested experience. Like I said, I hitchhiked from like Oslo to Lofoten, which is from the most southern point of Norway to the most northern point of Norway. It wasn't like just like from one point to the other. It was like stopping at different points and having these magical experiences and going to these magical places that not even Norwegians have been to. Like I talked to a lot of Norwegians that they're like, I haven't even been there, I haven't even been there, and they live there. So and then I hitchhiked to Sweden. Anyway, I was living this beautiful, magical, adventurous, free, nomadic life for many years, for many, many years. And yeah, I just spent my life traveling. Even during COVID, I was still traveling. I didn't have a job. I didn't have much money. I was getting very like small creative gigs online. I was just manifesting enough, just enough. And just to get by in regards to paying what I needed to pay for, but I was still like traveling freely. I was going to the most magical places, meeting amazing people, traveling and living in a car in a beautiful, yeah, like nomadic car. And then 2000, and yeah, and I moved like every few months I moved. So it was a very like dynamic, nomadic, freeing experience, but I was dependent on my ex-partner to for some financial things, at some point. And then I got a job, my remote job, which was my dream job. Like I manifested my dream job too. After he supported me for a while we were traveling, then I manifested my dream job, which was a digital nomad job that paid me consistent income because I was tired of just like waiting for random gigs to appear so I could like keep like traveling and going from one country to another. Like I was done living like that, which I lived like that for like a few years, maybe 3 years. And I'm like, I'm done. Like 2019, 20, okay, 2 years. In 2021, which was the third year traveling, that's when I manifested a stable job. And that took me a while, but I manifested a stable job that's remote. Like who does that? I did. And yeah, so we kept traveling, and this time I was paying for everything. Like he paid for us for like a year, I paid for us for a year. Like it was awesome. I felt like this strong, independent woman, and I was earning a lot of money remotely. I was traveling full time, and I was supporting my partner. I just felt like the most powerful woman in the world. And then in 2022, that's when, like around the fall, actually, is when because I was having clients, I was doing architecture work and then I was having like coaching clients and my passion was like self-love and manifestation, but I realized that people weren't manifesting the same way that I was. I'm like, it was frustrating. I'm like, there has to be a way for people to manifest according to them, to their personality. Like, why did I find a way for me that works? And why is this formula not working for others? So just with this kind of thinking, I manifested the formula that works for everyone, for individual personality and energy. And that's when human design came into my life, which was in fall of 2022. And I got certified after 6 months of like just learning and training and experimenting with me. Like I got certified and it changed my life, guys. Like it totally changed my life because that human design literally described my dream life like exactly how I was living. Like it said it. I'm like, wow, like if I thought like if I had known this, like I would have lived my dream life way sooner with less complications, with more confidence, with less fear, with less self-sabotage, with less like these like mediocre, maybe low self-worth experiences. Like obviously the majority of my dream life before human design was amazing. It was just magical. Like it was like raw and beautiful and exciting. But like I didn't have to just wait for one gig to pay for my airplane from one country to another. I could have lived more comfortably. I could have traveled more comfortably. I could have traveled more alone because I wanted to, but like no, like it was perfect because I wanted to be alone, but at the same time I did depend on people to let me sleep on their sofa in exchange of my stories, right? Like let me tell you my stories. Let me yeah, like inspire you because they were all inspired. They're like, wow, like I want to live your life. Like this is what I want to do. Or just like where I been to and just behind the scenes Like it was great for the first time when I did it, like the first few times, but then it was very exhausting afterwards because traveling is exhausting. And in my human design, it says like I need to be alone. I have to be alone. Like this is my highest frequency, like the hermit mode. And then also my human design, it says like I'm very good with people. Like I'm meant to be in a community. I'm meant to create communities. I'm meant to like just receive everything from my community. And I was receiving everything from people. I was receiving everything from my community, like the community that like I didn't know that it existed, right? Yeah, so like my human design was basically describing me. My human design also says like I'm meant to follow the voice in my body that says that like I have to live a life where my lifestyle is prioritized. And what is my lifestyle? Fitness, traveling, being free, um, to being adventurous. Like that's literally like a voice that is in my human design, like a voice that guides me. There's other voices, very many other voices, but that's the number one that I should listen to. And you know what? I always had this voice, always, always, always. But guess who repressed it? My parents. They're like, no, no, leave the dream behind. You know, you should focus in school. And I did manifested big travels in my teenage years, in my 20s, but it was like once a year, you know. And that's when I was the most free and and happy in my entire life. But I thought like that's just a vacation, right? Like that's not normal life. That's what happens once a year, you know, for like 1 or 2 weeks. And that's kind of how I travel. Like I did go to Mexico with my family in my teenage years a lot, like every summer, and that was so much fun, like for 2 months. And like that was my happiness. When I traveled, that was when I was happy. But I thought, you know, for the conditioning for my family that that was like that's just like a vacation thing. Like that's not a normal life. And obviously when I left USA, the corporate life, I decided to just live for me, you know, like I embarked on this self-love journey. I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want, live for me, and I'm just gonna travel the rest of my life because that's what I like. That's what I'm happy. And I know I can manifest it because I manifested things that like don't make sense. And yeah, I kind of decided that I was going to manifest without money, without a job. And I did. But it was very stressful because it's like, how am I going to survive tomorrow? How am I going to survive the next week? What if I'm going to be homeless? What if, but it never happened. I never ran out of money. I was never homeless. I never ran out of food to eat. Like I always had comfort. I always had food. I always had a place to stay. Sometimes my even bed, my own bedroom, or sometimes my own apartment. Like people just gave it to me, literally. And that is in my human design. Like I will receive things from my community. Like, and I will give to my community. Like there's gonna be a reciprocation. But I didn't know that. I was just going off my feelings, my intuition, and it just unfolded exactly how my human design is written. But if I had known this, you know, like I wouldn't have this stress, like of like, what am I gonna tomorrow? I'm just gonna manifest, you know, something like my ideal situation. And I always did, but there was always this stress of like depending on manifestation for me to know what like that I'm gonna be okay, like, you know, with the basic needs a week, 2 weeks from now, right? So that was this constant stress of like not knowing how I'm going to make it, where I'm gonna be, what if I don't have enough money? Where is it gonna come from? This constant thinking, like this stress. There was this adrenaline of freedom and adventure, and then this constant stress of like just like in the wild, like an animal doesn't know if it's gonna live that day, right? Like it has to be kind of cautious, but at the same time, it's living its life, it's living in the present moment. So I was living both present moment, magic, freedom, but also like stress, like surviving. And yeah, so my human design does say that, like it does say that I'm supposed to live a life where I prioritize my lifestyle, where my lifestyle guides my purpose. My purpose is in my lifestyle. My purpose is in doing living a life that I love. And what's a life that I love? Fitness, traveling, um, fitness traveling, fitness traveling, fitness traveling. And that's exactly what I did before human design. And obviously when I got certified in human design and I just learned how to read my chart, and I just like I felt so much peace, guys. I felt so much peace. It's like this veil have fallen off my eyes. I'm like, so I've been doing it right this entire time. So I've been doing it right. I've been living right, because there is always this kind of self-judgment also, like 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 I'm in my early 20s. I mean, sorry, I'm in my early 30s, back then before human design. I'm like, I should be getting serious. Like I shouldn't be playing so much. Like what are people gonna think? Like I'm just having fun. I'm just like working out. Like I'm just wasting time working out and traveling. Like I should be doing more. That was, constant voice, little voice in my head, but it did stress me. Like it did make me feel like guilty and shame. But I didn't listen to it. I kept doing what I loved. I kept traveling. I kept working out while I was traveling. I kept being creative and being free and exploring. I kept doing it, but I always had this voice, little voice in my head that said like, oh, like you're getting older, like you don't have anything. You don't have assets. You don't have a home. You don't have materials. Like you're not married. Well, I did have a stable partner. Yeah, anyway, but like it was this like you're not serious enough, you're playing too much. You're changing from one place to another. Like you don't have a home, you don't have a mortgage, like you don't have a stability, this constant inner criticism. But I'm like, I don't care. This is my life. People can judge me. This is my life. I don't care if I look ridiculous in my 30s, working out, being fit, traveling, not having anything to my name. I don't care. I'm gonna, so there was always this rebellious dialogue in my head. I'm like, I'm just gonna do whatever I don't care if I do look really ridiculous. I don't care if people judge me. I don't care if people look down on me for living my life and not being a stable 30-year-old woman who has a family, kids, a career, successful career, a home, properties, whatever. But my human design, like that is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm supposed to be living the most authentic life. Literally, like my human design says that word, authentic lifestyle. I'm supposed to live authentically. I'm supposed to live freely. I'm supposed to live an amazing lifestyle. Lifestyle. A lifestyle is exactly what you do every minute of your day, how you wake up, how you go about your day, what excites you, what makes you happy. And so when I learned that in my human design, I'm like, oh my God, like it just released all that shame, guilt, self-criticism. Like it just died. It completely died, guys. It died. Like I had no more shame. I had no more guilt. I had no more self-criticism, no more self-judgment. Like it completely went away. So how did so now I get to my point. How did human design help me manifest my dream life, which was just a bigger version of my dream life? So you know how manifestation works, right? Like if you feel bad about your visions and your desires, you're gonna self-sabotage, or you're gonna manifest something that is not amazing. Like it's just gonna be like half-assed or kind of mediocre, or it's gonna look like what you wanted, but then later it's like, wow, like this is not what I asked for. Like maybe a relationship or maybe a job is like it's amazing at first, and it's like it's not good. It doesn't feel good, it's not what you thought. Maybe it's toxic, it was negative, it was not satisfying, right? So when I release all these low energies, these low frequencies, these low emotions, because my human design just gave me the permission to be myself without feeling guilty and shame, because I was born to be like this. Like it's written in my human design, it's written in my stars. Like that's how I'm meant to be and function. So with that like complete permission from my human design, I just went off. I started like scripting so wildly. I started to like visualize so wildly without feeling any guilt, shame, criticism. And I started to manifest even faster because I didn't have the low frequencies weighing me down anymore. No more like shame and guilt. It was just freedom, freedom to be me. So yeah, I manifested the most amazing lifestyle after getting certified human design. I manifested this big home in Spain, it's called Conil de la Frontera. It's in Andalusia. It's on the west side of Spain, very close to Morocco, right across from Morocco. So basically I wanted a home that's in a beautiful, beautiful community that's far from the city. So it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's beautiful. There's a beautiful community, safe, vibrant, safe, amazing community, but it's far from the busy city life and like status people, that just like that are trying to get ahead, that are trying to make a living, that are trying to make a name for themselves. That energy is like I want to be a far away from that energy. But I also don't want to be in an island. Like I don't want to be in an island. I want to be close to the mainland. I want to be close to the city because sometimes I do want to go to the cities. Maybe even if it's just once a year, I want to have that ability to say, today I want to go to Madrid. Today I want to go to Sevilla. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars from a flight from one island to get to the mainland and then transportation and then hotel. No, like what if I want to go to the city there and back in one day without spending a lot of money? Anyway, I wanted this kind of life. I wanted to surf. I wanted to learn how to surf. I wanted to do art. I wanted to just live this magical life next to the ocean, surfing, being fit with a safe, kind, nice community, and live an artistic life. Anyway, I didn't know how it's gonna happen, but that's what I asked for. And that's exactly what's in my human design, you're making the connections. And there was no second thinking. I'm like, this is what I want. And obviously, at first, it took me 1 week to manifest this. 1 week, because I was staying in Greece when I was, because I could only be outside of Spain for 6 months out of the year because I was resident of Spain back then. So in 1 week, I manifested because I got clear on what I wanted, because I had the permission to ask for what I wanted for my human design. There was no like, oh, I should go to a city that people like Barcelona, because that's what people like, because that's the cool thing to do. I have lived there before. I didn't like it that much, but at the same time, I lived there during COVID, so I'm like, I didn't really taste the real Barcelona, like live in the real Barcelona. Like I did visit it, before COVID. Visiting is different than living, right? I'm like, it's cool, the city's so artistic. There's so many people like in the fitness lifestyle, like there's so much vibrancy, so much life, so many artists, like mentally it made sense to go to Barcelona. Because it was 2 weeks of me like doubting, like, where should I go next after Greece? Where? And the planes they're not cheap, so I had to choose right. Like it had to be the right place, so I didn't have to go from one city to another. I'm like, where? Mentally, I'm like, Barcelona, like everything that I want is there, the fitness, the lifestyle, the art, the ocean. Um, Barcelona is connected to so many other countries in the world internationally. Like I can just travel to anywhere. But whenever I thought of it, it caused me anxiety. I'm like, I don't know why. Like it causes me. And I tried to look for rooms to rent there. I was searching, and everything was so expensive. And if I wanted to live alone, like it was so expensive. Like I could not afford it. Like I would have to live like outside of Barcelona, like in a very like low vibe neighborhood, like not safe neighborhood, just to live close to Barcelona. Like my budget didn't match being living in Barcelona, like downtown or close to the beach. So it was hard. It was hard. I'm like, but in my mind it made sense. I'm like, I have to be there. Like that's the city of love, of art, of beauty, of fitness, of like this hippie artisan. I'm like I have to go there again. That's where I need to live. That's where my base should be. But obviously, thank God I got certified in human design. I'm like, well, my human design says to not take decisions from my thoughts, like what I think. Because that was one of my shadows, actually. My human design shows my shadows, like thinking, making decisions out of thinking, creating this beautiful image and thinking that's what I should do. My human design says I should live off what makes my heart open, and I can live my dream lifestyle, like what makes my heart open. It was in Barcelona. So after 2 months of thinking I should be there, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna follow my heart. And my heart says, I don't want to be in that area anymore. I don't want to live in a fucking city. I don't want to live in an island. I want to live alone. I want to live in a community where like that is not known, that is not popular, but it's like so safe, so beautiful, so remote, but so close to the main cities as well. And I want to surf and I want it to be affordable. And I want to also do art because I want to go to Barcelona to like study art. Anyway, I want this universe, bring it to me. And I want it to be like just easy to get there, and I want to feel safe. All these things that I feel like Barcelona didn't have. Barcelona is not safe, guys. It's not safe. Barcelona is a fast-paced city, and I didn't want to live a fast-paced life. No, slow-paced, safe, artistic, community, fitness lifestyle. Anyway, within a week after I let go of Barcelona and I just focus on what I wanted, not what I thought I should have, not what I thought people people would think amazing of me. I'm like, if I live this amazing life in Barcelona, like people are gonna think it's amazing. And if people think that, then it's probably right. Anyway, I let go of all that, what people thought, what I idolized in my head, that the perfect place for me, even though I didn't qualify for all the things that I wanted. I'm like, that's it's good enough. I let go of all that and I just focus on what I wanted, because why not? It's in my human design. Within 1 week, I manifested this dream location in Spain that was close to the cities, that there's a huge surfing community, that there's a huge artist community. Actually, the first week that I arrived there, and it was a big house. It was a 3-bedroom house just for me at a 3-bedroom house just for me. What I would have paid for a tiny room with only one bed outside of Barcelona. Like like in shitty conditions in a shitty neighborhood in Barcelona. I got a big house for me next to the ocean, next to the gym, next to anyways, like the perfect place. And the only thing that was missing from this little town that I manifested was an art school. I really wanted to go to an art school. And I'm like, I want my art school. I want my art school. I have the gym next door. I have the ocean next door. I have the surf school next door, literally like a 10-minute walk. It was everything. It was peaceful. It was quiet. It was safe. Within 2 weeks of just moving there, because I flew from Greece to Sevilla and then got to my community. Within 2 weeks, this new art school opened in this town. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it, guys. I could not believe it. And obviously, I enrolled immediately. And then, yeah, the rest is history, guys. I was living my dream life, learning art, being an artist, surfing, going to the gym, being peaceful, being in a quiet place, being safe, going on walks next to the beach every day. It was pure magic, guys. It was pure magic. And then that was 2022. In 2023, I moved to Mexico. I was done with the European phase, honestly. Done, moved to my roots, and this is where I was truly happy. I mean, in my human design, it can't get any more clear. Like my human design says I need to be authentic. I need to be original. I need to be me, live my life still being me. Europe is not me, really. It's European. I'm Mexican. I'm indigenous. I'm American, Native American, Mexican, Aztec. Oh, so it was a very hard decision to move back here because of all the things that I was traumatized in the USA. Like it was so hard, but once I made the decision to come here, guys, my life just went to another dimension of authenticity, of happiness, of freedom, of deliciousness, of fitness. Guys, I have never done so many sports in my freaking life. Never, never, never. I actually run out of time and energy to do sports. Like I play soccer, I swim, I surf, I skate, I go to a gym. I actually want to do more, but I just don't have the energy anymore. I cannot do more. If I want to progress, I cannot do more. Like it's like I'm living my ultimate dream life, guys. I am, and then I see the ocean from my windows, from my balcony. I see the waves. There's any kind of athlete in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 20s, in their 50s, they're here. This is a playground for adults like me. So my human design was a big part of this. My human design helped me unleash this. Like maybe I could have gone here by myself without human design, but it would have taken me, I'm pretty sure, more time, maybe a few more years, honestly. Few more years. Yeah, like because I was so much in my head. Like I made so many decisions from my head for big, big things, you know? Um, I also had trauma, you know, like coming to Mexico because of USA, you know, all the things that they said. But I knew Mexico was my happy place. I always knew it since a kid. But, you know, programming is powerful, brainwashing is powerful. So human design helped me just break through that and just choose me, not what my mind thinks, not the programming, not the traumas, but my heart. It's my heart is happy here. The world doesn't think it's a beautiful place, but I feel it. I feel it in my heart, and I follow my heart. And guess what? Aiden unlocked this whole new dimension of magic for me. Guys, I just can never get enough of me. I can never get enough of the things that I love doing. I do art, I do a ton of sports. There's magical people here, a ton of hippie magicos and hippie magicas. Seriously, like it's crazy. And I still keep following my human design. Like I haven't just stopped using it. Like I still use it because I still have this my mind that keeps want to make my mind wants to make decisions all the time. My mind always has amazing ideas. I have brilliant ideas. But just because it's a brilliant idea doesn't mean that it's meant for me. So and I live alone. I live alone. I have a partner, I have an amazing, loving relationship, but my human design saved me from attracting another relationship that's not ideal, that is toxic for me. And in my human design, it says that I need to live alone. I have to be alone for my sake, for my well-being, for my happiness. And this is the first relationship that I actually did that because it's in my human design and I listened to it. It was very hard, but I listened to it. It was very hard because I'm used to living like in my shadow, right? In my shadow, my human design is, well, not living alone, you know, sabotaging my independence. So in this relationship, I told my partner, like, I need to live alone. It took me a few months, you know, to say it because we would talk about, you know, living together in the future, you know, in the future years, whatever. And then after a few years, I'm like, you know what? It sounds romantic, but I cannot live with anyone, honestly. Like it never ends well. I'm never happy. I always lose everything. I always lose my authenticity. I feel trapped. I feel not me. And guess what? He's actually the same way. He's like, I like living alone too. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to get married. Like he's like that too. So I'm like, wow. It's like when you got to choose who you want to be authentically and unapologetically, then you attract the same people. I attracted that partner that's like me too. It's like he's the same as me. Like he wants to live alone, he wants a relationship, love relationship, he wants to travel, he wants to not have any kids, he wants to do sports. He also has a athletic lifestyle, not as much as me because in my human design, I just have a ton of energy to do sports, and in his human design, he doesn't have as much energy. So, but there's no comparison. It's like It's like we're all living according to our human design without even knowing it. But if you knew your human design, you would not stop yourself from asking for what you truly want. But the society has told you that it's not right. It's not right for for couples to live in a different house. It means that they don't love each other. No, we do love each other. We love ourselves and we love each other, right? We're not gonna sacrifice ourselves for the relationship. So this is the first time that I live in a, maybe this is a different topic. I'm gonna talk about this in a new video. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to talk about, human design and how I manifested my dream relationship using human design, because I did use my human design as a map, as a foundation, like just being more bold in what I want in a relationship. So yeah, you can love someone a lot without sacrificing yourself, without sacrificing your freedom and your happiness and what you want for you. Like they both can coexist. Okay, guys, well, I'm getting tired now. I'm gonna go about and prepare to go to the gym because I'm gonna keep living my amazing dream life. Go to the gym, probably go watch some soccer, then come back to some art. I don't know. I just go with the flow, guys. Okay, guys. Well, let me know what you thought about this, if you've used your human design before to manifest, and what other topics you guys want me to talk about. Okay, have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.